Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome in. Well, now you got a couple of talks under your belt. I hope you're enjoying your morning. Right now, you are in Becoming a Godly Dad by Chris Brown. And we are so excited to hear from Chris. He's no stranger to no regrets. He's been here a few times now. And this is now the second speaker in a row that we have coming from California. So how we do that in February is just amazing. So welcome, Chris. I just want to share a few things about Chris before he comes up. He has served as senior pastor and teaching pastor at North Coast Church in California since 2004. Prior to that, he was the campus pastor at Azusa Pacific University and then a youth pastor in the LA area. He's a gifted storyteller and Bible teacher. He loves to use sense of humor and motivational style to help people truly experience all of the grace and mercy. There you go, time. Okay. Chris Brown.
I shouldn't have done that because that was your time to be on film. You want to finish that? Because it's just reading. And the intros, they suck. Someone writes them for things like this. Okay, first of all, and I don't even know you, but thanks, but you started by lying. And he's like, hey, we're here to learn to be godly parents like Chris Brown. And it just hit me. I'm like, let me tell you how crazily insane this breakout session is. And in the first 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you why you need to get up and leave. I swear I'm going to do that. I've got this thing because I've seen so many marriages go bad. Thank you. I've seen so many marriages go bad that I have this thing. There are no secrets from my wife. There are no codes from my wife. There's no password from my wife. There's nothing I'm doing, no place I go, nothing I look at, nothing I see. That is from my wife. There's no secrets from my wife. And I tell you that just to tell you, I did not tell her about this breakout session. I kept it from her when she said, what are you going to speak on? Because, okay, here's the difference. You guys picked this session. I didn't. I swear. I came to talk to men. I got about a third of the way through my message before the clock ran out. I'll get a tenth of the way through this. And then Steve goes, your breakout's on parenting. And I had Holly, my admin, send back as, what do you need Chris to do in a breakout? Can he come with a topic? Steve goes, we'd love him to talk on parenting. And at this point, I'm like, so if you're a dad and you love being a dad, if you're a dad and you love kids, and if you're a dad and you're like, I just want like a Pinterest workshop on how to have, better dad time with my kids and how to do better like dad group dates, you're going to be so disappointed in this. I don't like kids. I don't like my kids most of the time. Being a dad isn't easy for me. Being a dad is harder than marriage, and marriage was tough. I'm not good at this. I've had to learn over the years to paint by numbers. These are things I have to tell myself to do, even though I cognitively don't like being a dad. That's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear a guy who, because he really loved fooling around with his wife a lot, kids came. I tried hard to do the former without the latter. We made it 6 years in marriage. I still remember fishing on a beach. We would get quads and just roam the beaches of South Cabo area and the desert. And I love saltwater fishing. I love shore fishing. I love everything about fishing. And I'm with my brother, and we're in this godforsaken stretch of land about an hour outside of town. And my brother asked me, when are you guys going to have kids? And I remember telling Mark, I go, I don't think we're ever having kids. He goes, that surprises me. Dude, I thought you'd love to have kids. And I remember telling Mark, we've been married 6 years. Amy and I both talked about it. We're good never having kids. I go, I just see them as a nuisance and a distraction, and they suck time and money and energy, and we got a really cool life right now with what we're doing with our time and energy. No joke, this is a conversation with my brother fishing. I remember casting because we got some Jack Traval that are coming in chasing the bait on shore, and they're jumping in. We got a couple rooster fish that are with the jacks, and so that's what I'm doing, these topwater plugs with this big circle. You know, if you know the language, you know what's going on. And I remember my brother start casting, and so I'm throwing, I look over, and he's just staring at me. And he's like, you don't want to have kids because you see them as a nuisance? I'm like, yeah, and I just kept fishing. I remember, bro, I would not be down here with you for 4 days if I had kids right now. My kids are 21, 20, and 17. They're not successful at anything. They're not incredibly talented at anything. We've erred on the side of just I just want them to know Jesus, that's it. Here's us. If you're like, how do I get successful kids? How do I get an Uber kid? How do I get how do I get a scholarship out of my kid? I couldn't. My kid went to a semester of junior college and she dropped out. And she bought a hat that said I dropped out of college. And she spends most of what I thought was going to be tuition money at a junior college on the 27 tattoos that she has. She's got a full sleeve and she's working on her next and thigh. And she loves Jesus. And so I don't care. I don't care if she can make the next 60 years and just be a complete dredge on the culture, a complete suck on the system. But if she's in heaven for eternity, I'm a happy guy. And I've told my kids that from day one. People try to put grades on my life growing up, and grades, Ross Perot did this thing in Texas that if you get an F in your week in your courses, you can't play Friday nights. And so I had straight D's all the way through high school, straight D's, straight D's. Twice I got an F, twice the football coach went in and talked to the teacher, twice the football coach came out and said, you're playing Friday night. And I'm like, well, that's good. It's good to go offense and defense, straight D's. And I had an institution my entire life try to grade me and try to tell me I don't fit in and I'm not a leader. And I know. So I'm telling you right now, whatever you thought this was gonna be about, it's not. All you're gonna hear is a dude that has 3 kids. They're 21, 20, and 17. I love them. I don't like them most of the time, but I really love them. And I have learned how to be a dad by painting by numbers because none of this is natural to me. So if you want anything else, now's the time to shoo-shoo. And I remember when she was born because everyone told me. And first of all, we had a kid. And then second of all, it was the girl type. And I'm like, what did I do? Where's my cursing? What did I do wrong? Where did I go? I knew that if I was going to have kids, God would give me boys because that's what I grew up in West Texas. And the only thing I've ever successfully done with a girl is make them cry. And there's no way God would want one of his daughters in my house. And we find out it's a girl type baby. And people tell me, oh, the moment you see her, the moment she comes out and you hold her, your life is going to change. And I'm like, okay, we can make my notes. We'll get to that moment. I remember that night so vividly. June 8, 2001, because the Lakers were in the finals. They were playing Philadelphia. Now, the answer in game number 1 torched them. And Iverson got over on Kobe and Shaq. But in game number 2, my wife decides we should have a baby. And I'm like, it's not a we. I got game 2. But I knew I had to be there. So my wife, bless her heart, says, you can keep the game on, just no volume. That's when you know you married a good woman. My wife gives birth and gives me a daughter in the middle of game 2. And they clean her up, they wrap her up. My wife is exhausted. It was brutal. I'm sitting there in this hospital room staring at this little girl. And every once in a while, Amy would roll over and just look and smile. And she's all, how's it going? And I said, babe, it's going great. And I had no way of telling her, we're up by 9. The third quarter didn't start great, but by the time she asked me the question toward the end of the third quarter, we're going great. And I sat there staring at this thing, waiting. When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? I would come home from work month number 2, and I'd grab that little girl and wonder, when's it going to happen? Month number 3, when's it going to happen? Month number 4, when's it going to happen? Amy was an amazing mom. Amy read every book on mothering. Amy knew what to do with the cry. Amy knew how to bathe, how to feed, how to water, how to wipe, how to do. And I stood there. I tried a couple things. Apparently diapers go one way, not the other. I don't know why. It all seems to be cushioned absorbent. I dressed her one night and I put her in jammies, but I did butterflies with flowers. And the flowers go with flowers, butterflies go with butterflies, but they were close to the same color. And there was no one freaking coming over the house. She's just going to bed. And I was told, you did it wrong, you did it wrong, you did it wrong. So I just kept taking a step back and taking a step back. And man only hears you've done it wrong so many times before I just stopped doing it. And Amy became an incredible mom. And I didn't know how to become a dad. And in the midst of it, I lost an incredible wife. Because her entire world was to take care of a human whose life depended on her. And by month 4, month 5, I'm like, hey, there's somebody else here. But Amy's exhausted. She's become a feeding factory for this little kid. And that used to be my playground. I don't know how you took that, but I think you got that. That's what we're leaving it there. And our marriage went in a different direction, and parenting never started with me, and we just thought, I guess that's what happens when you have kids. Anytime you get to, I guess that's what's happened. I didn't think it'd be like that. I had hoped it'd be different. You are in denial. You need to stop right there and say, you know what? There's something wrong here. We've got unmet expectations. I needed to tell Amy, hey, I love the way you've become a mom. I don't know how that happened. We brought her home from the hospital, and you get this. You get this. This is amazing. I don't get this at all. For 6 years, I loved my girlfriend. I haven't seen my girlfriend since this thing came home. And Amy's, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, my body's made for her, I'm like, I get it, but that's how I connect, I don't know. And she's, okay, Chris, I can start to engage again and being a wife, I need to hear that. She's, I need you to be a dad. And I said, they told me it would happen the moment I saw her. Now, I've mentioned this in our church many times before. The first time I mentioned it, I'm like, oh my God, my church is going to realize once again what a worthless pastor they have. And to my surprise, they're always like, you never cease to surprise us how stupid you are. See you next week. And I'm like, oh, only in Southern California can I get away with being a pastor. That's why that dude's there too. And so we're there. And when I said this, and I said, guys, listen, let me tell you the surprise. My wife went ahead and got pregnant a second time without asking and gave me another girl baby. Now, I set myself up for a much lower expectation, but I was still hoping it would happen. 3 years, 2.5 years after that, she finally gave me a boy baby. And by that time I knew I'm not going to engage that way. And when I mention that in church, I'm like, oh my gosh, just another vulnerability where you're going to go and we're finding another church. I had so many men go, man, I just thought it was me. I thought I was broken. I'm like, oh, you too? You're an idiot? And they're like, yeah, I'm an idiot too. For some of you, you saw your child became a dad and it just happened, you loved. And you've poured into and you've loved those moments. For some of us, it has been really difficult. I'm actually better at knowing what to do as a husband. I at least know the relationship can figure that out than this. And so by that third child, I told Amy, I'm hanging out with the girls. I'll see you and the dude in about 9 months. Because right around 8 or 9 months is where I really felt myself starting to engage with a kid. And I think it's just pure selfish. I don't know. When they actually recognize me, I'm not just some, orb in a room. When they actually were excited to see me, when I actually could do something with them. There wasn't a nurturing bone in my body about keeping them alive or doing. It was an interaction I needed to have. And so let me tell you how I've broken this down for me. And if it helps you, great. I've got a passage in Ephesians 5 that I just love. It says, Ephesians 5 starts and says, be imitators of God, therefore, as dearly loved children. Walk in the way of love just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us. Ephesians 5 is sort of a man chapter for me. I'm going to read portions of it because it breaks this stuff down. It says, now listen, among you don't even have a hint of sexual immorality. Don't have kind of impurity or greed because these things are improper. Get rid of your obscenity, your foolish talk, your coarse joking. That's got no place in a man. It's got no place in a man. Well, when I'm with other mans and we're in the backyard and I got my Cubans and I got a, rum in my hand, where things get a little loose. No. My staff loves hanging out with me. I love hanging out with the guys from our church. I just realized I'm talking to so many groups and I'm in the Midwest. And I'm going to be honest, so I don't care. And wherever you're watching it, please turn it off. I love sitting with a boom boo rum in the backyard and a great stick from Cuba, the Dominican, or Nicaragua, and just hang with guys and just having conversations. But every guy will tell you, don't cross those lines with Chris. Don't drop an F-bomb just because you have the freedom in Christ. Don't go there with sexual jokes or innuendos, especially about your wife in front of Brown. It ain't going to work. And no, I want to be real. I want to be honest. But man, Ephesians 5 has got me and said, Chris, there's no place, not because you're a pastor, because you're a son of this God. And now, your boy, your girls are going to grow up going, that's what a man is and does. So Chris, that's going to be out of your life. You're going to live as children of light. Find out what pleases the Lord. In verse 15, it says, so then be very careful how you live. Not as unwise, but as wise. Make the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Verse 18, so don't get drunk on wine. Instead, be filled with the Spirit. Wine in the Bible is always about celebration. It's about blessing. It's about joy. The Bible is very pro-wine. Jesus made the best of wine. Don't give me, well, what Jesus actually made was 1/35 watered down version. Shut up. The master of the ceremonies who does wine for a living goes, this is excellent. This is good. But don't ever get drunk. You're filled with the Spirit of God. And anything you're doing in the Bible that puts you on another spirit, it's anti-Christian, you're anti-Christ. And then it's the famous passage. It goes, and submit to one another. Yes, wives to your husband. And yes, husbands, you submit to your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up. So every time a dude in my church comes and goes, Chris, I don't know what to do, man. I'm trying to love Julie, but she's killing me. I pat him on the back and say, you're almost there. You're on the right track. You don't stop until she kills you. That's when I'll step in. I'm going to do a heck of a memorial and say, this guy served his purpose. I'm going to say, hey, we're all here. We feel sorry for Dave, but he loved Julie until she killed him. And that's biblical. And you don't stop until then. In fact, you present her without wrinkle, without stain, blameless, pure. My job is to let my Jewish wife think that she is the most beautiful woman that has ever scorched the face of the earth. I'm not going to tell her what given 3 kids have done to her body. I'm not going to ever bring up anything that the Mirror and the magazine racks and the commercials today tell her. And my job is to make sure she is without stain, without blemish, without wrinkle. Which, by the way, Scripture is saying she does have stain, she does have blemish, she does have wrinkle. You present her without it. And my wife says, I need you to be a dad. And I'm like, yeah. And I went back to the first sentence. Be imitators of God. And I never got the next. As dearly loved children. What God is saying is, men, let me tell you, when it comes to your marriage and when it comes to parenting, you have this in you. You can do this because you're a chip off the old block. You're made in the image of your dad. For those of you struggling with parenting right now, let me promise you, you can do this. You've got it in you. It's be imitators of God. It wasn't make your own planet. It wasn't turn water into wine. Chapter 5 goes, here's the character of being a man. But by the way, you're his boy. Let me promise you can do this. 3 steps. Number 1, just show up. I just had to start showing up. Kids spell love T-I-M-E. That's how they spell love. And you can't give it to them any other way. You can't give it to them with a gift. You can't give it to them with an experience. They just spell love T-I-M-E. Since I didn't know what I was doing, I just started watching them. Even when my kids were small and they were just playing on the floor with blocks or something like that. Selah, my first, she would always stop and just look back and make sure I was still sitting there. And I'm like, how's it going? And she'd smile and just keep playing. And every once in a while she'd stop and just look back. And I'm like, I'm still here and you're still there. And she'd just keep playing. And I'm like, oh. And at the end of that Amy kiss, she goes, I love how you're engaging. And I'm like, engaging? I had Sports Center on. And I'm like, yeah, I'm your dad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm your dad. Do you know what I realized watching these 2 girls all through their life so far at 21 and 20? They've never stopped looking back. When that little blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl with the dark tan, because she's got mom's Jewish skin, when she played soccer, and she was 5 years old, and she was on the Blue Dolphins, and she had her little ponytail, and she would just skip around the soccer field, and she'd always stop and do this. And I'd always have to just do this, because until she saw me, she wouldn't stop going after the ball again. And the coach came to me after the game, and he goes, hey, I'm using Selah for all of our throw-ins. Did you notice that? And I go, yeah. And he goes, she's really good at it. And I go, hey, bud, listen, I'm not one of those dads. He's all, what do you mean? And I go, my kid sucks at soccer. You and I both know she's never touched the ball on the field, and the reason you're having her do throw-ins is because no one can screw it up. No one blows a whistle at a 5-year-old for dragging a foot, and it's the only time she can play. No joke. This guy looked at me and he's all, yeah, that's exactly it. Come on, I get it. I'm not looking at some D1 full ride out of this girl right now. All she does is this, and the ball's going that way, and then she starts going this way, and then she does this. And I do this, and she's all... Can I tell you, for a kid that grew up in West Texas who was an athlete at one time, it was embarrassing to be the dad of that girl. I'm like, hey, the ball's way over there where all the other girls are. When her sister made it to the CIF swim meet, I had one kid that played sports for one semester. And when she made it to the CIF swim meet, I had to drive an hour on a work day to get to that meet. And when I get down to a park I've never been in, this pool I've never been in, I don't know where I'm going. I see my daughter with her team, her high school. And she's got her cap on and she's got her big swim and she's just doing this. She knows where her mom is sitting. She just wanted to know if Dad was really going to show up. And so I came in and I saw where my wife's sitting, saved me a seat. I'm standing there. Karis looked at me and just looked away. To this day, she won't admit she was looking for me. She was 17. She's not going to give me the satisfaction of knowing she was looking for Dad. But I just knew she was. Kids just need to know you're around. Because every boy and girl is innately wired for a dad to be in their life. And you're never going to be cool enough. I didn't wear my Hey Dudes today. I wore them yesterday. But I was going to be in front of you. And as I put them on this morning, that 17-year-old who's now 20, I heard her voice going, "Old man slippers." And I'm like, these Hey Dudes are cool in other parts of the country. To which she goes, "Then you should move." It's funny if she wasn't serious, but that's what she says. We lost her freshman year. We lost her. She got to this big public high school. She tried out for a senior dance team, even though no freshmen, sophomore, juniors ever make senior, and she's never taken dance before. And the seniors loved her, and the girls got some moves. That came from Mom. And so the dance director talked to my wife and said, "Your daughter's never been in dance, but she tried out. And for someone that's never taken a lesson in life, do you mind if she does this first semester at least with the senior dance team? I'd love to see where she can go with a little training." The problem is that in 2 weeks of being a freshman, she became a senior. She left campus with the seniors. She hung out with senior guys. She did everything seniors. And oh no. Somewhere in the midst of that, my beautiful daughter then just started this experimentation with her sexuality. Quite didn't know what gender she was attracted to or maybe thought. And she just went down this road for months. I stepped back. I talked to my leadership. I said, "This is where my daughter's at. If I need to step out, I'll step out." This is the most important thing in the world to me. She sent me pictures this weekend of the camp, the winter camp she's ministering at this weekend. She's got a group of 9th and 10th grade girls that will not leave her alone because she's done every trick that they're pulling, and they're amazed that someone that cool and that beautiful loves God. And they haven't figured her out yet. And Karis is the first to roll up the sleeves and show you the scars of her life. I've never been cool in her eyes. I've just been there. And that's the only thing they wanted. You say, "Well, if I just show up, what do I do when I just show up?" Number 2 is, after just show up, just share. They might not act like it, but they really, really want to know you. Dad, start to learn to talk with your kids and stop talking to your kids. I met with a kid who was a junior. I've been a youth pastor for 33 years. I've just got gray-haired people in my youth group now. And I met with a kid who was just in a deep, dark cycle. We sat out after picking up some burgers at a picnic table in the park. His dad's like, "I don't get it, man." I go, "What's your relationship like?" I talk to him all the time. I go, "Really?" He goes, "Dude, we got a great relationship. I've talked to him all the time. But I don't know what's going on." So I sit with this kid and we start a conversation. I'm praying. I just bring up, "How's things going with your dad?" And he shrugs his shoulders. "You talk with your dad?" Shrugs his shoulders. "Do you remember a good conversation with your dad?" I remember he looked at me and goes, "I remember the last conversation my dad and I had." I said, "What was that about?" He goes, "He pulled me out of school because I had a dentist appointment. And I remember driving back towards school, and because there was only a couple hours left in the day, my dad's like, 'What if we go to McDonald's instead and just hang out?' And he goes, I think that was the last time I just hung out and talked to my dad. I said, oh, when was that? He said, I was in 3rd grade. I said, I don't know how to get this kid. I'm going to throw dad in the bus. I just got to start something. I said, would it surprise you, man? I talked to your dad, and your dad said he talks to you all the time. And this kid goes, that fool talks at me. But he remembers a McDonald's. They split a McNugget box, and dad just talked with him. Just show up and just share. Now, let me tell you, this is going to take some patience. Don't give up every time you get shut down. My 17-year-old rejects me more than anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. His name is Barrick, but I call him Bear. Hey, Bear, how was school? Yeah. Hey, Bear, how's it going? Hey, Bear. That's just a kid right now. And I look back and go, when I was 17, I didn't come home and go, Mother, Father, can we sit? Can I share the happenings? And I'm like, all right, it's just a stage. It's a cool kid. We got a cool relationship. But every time I try to find out what's going on, I get shot down 19 out of 20 times. But that's okay. I know that's him. I know I did that when I was a kid. I'm just aiming for that 1 out of 20. And when I get to 1 of the 20, I make the most of it. But let me tell you how that works. When you're going to share with your kids, if you got small kids, this is huge. You've got to get in their world. Don't try to get them into yours. You're either going to pay now, or I promise you will pay later. So when your kids are small, you have to have the most asinine conversations you've ever had in your life, and you've got to pretend like you're interested. So there was a period for a year and a half, almost every night, I sat beside a little red race car bed. And I just sat there and going, oh, really? And what's that do? How do you collect that? And I spent hours listening to the most god-awful nonsense about Minecraft that has ever been spewed out of a little kid's life. No, Dad, I got this pickaxe, and with the pickaxe, you can make this. And I'm like, oh. And I didn't have the heart to tell them, even the world sucks. It's made out of squares. Oh, my Atari had better graphics than what you're doing. No, Dad, if you collect this and mix this, then I build this, and then I built this, and then every night it was Minecraft. The coolest thing of those conversations was walking out of his room, and my wife would look at me and just give me the biggest hug, and she would say, oh, that was so hard for you. She knows. I was built to talk to audiences. I don't do one-on-one well at all, including my kids. And I would sit there and go, my God, babe, that was 27 minutes I will never get back. She's like, what was it about? I'm on some sort of ore that you mine, that you do a cube. There is nothing in life this is gonna help. Except for 2 nights ago, I go and check. He's playing, and I go, hey, you got that guitar fixed? Because 4 nights ago, he came to me and he said, Dad, do you have any butane? Do you have any fuel? I got this little soldering thing I ordered from Amazon. Yeah, here it is. You know how to put it in? No, I'm going to YouTube it. No, YouTube, let's go in the backyard. Let me show you how to fill this thing. Let me show you how to purge the canister, fill it, dude. I'm like, father, son. The night before I left, yeah, you got the guitar playing. Yeah. What'd you have to do? So my son's now into buying and selling, flipping, refurbishing electric guitars. He buys stuff that people don't know. They think it's junk because it's broke, and he's all, it's a $15 fix. I'm going to flip it for another $250. And he showed me what he soldered, and then he played. And he does this little finger, I don't even know what it's called. It's his new Minecraft. He doesn't play down here, he plays in his finger. And I'm like, dude, you showed me that like 2 months ago, and that's wicked good compared to that. That's got to be the hardest thing to play on the guitar. No, Dad, jazz. Jazz at 330 beats per minute. Let me show you the song. I don't know, I don't know, Silver Slipper, I don't know what he's on. And he pulls up on YouTube, and he showed me these jazz. There's only about 5 guys in the world that can play at 330 beats a minute this song. Holy cow. How do they do that? We spent a half hour talking about stuff that I don't give a rip about. But he thinks I do. Because next to a little red race car bed, I pretended I liked Minecraft. You have no prayer of talking to your son when he's 17 if you don't engage when he's 5, 6, 7. I put time beside that bed knowing one day he's going to talk to me about his addiction or his masturbation, pornography, a girlfriend. And if I don't sit and go through Minecraft, I don't have a prayer of him sharing with me when he's 17. You just show up and you just share their world, not yours. You just put in the time. And then you focus more on GOD than MVP or GPA. Focus more on GOD than MVP or GPA. Well, I bring them to church. We got a youth ministry. Dad, taking your kid to church doesn't make them spiritual. Any more than dropping them off at Wells Fargo for an hour every week is going to make them rich. It's a stupid plan. I'm going to write that down. It was good. It's a stupid plan. Do you have a Wells Fargo up here? I don't know. Everyone stays inside because you die outside. But where we are, you can walk outside and you can go to the bank and stuff like that. You can drop them off in the lobby of the bank for an hour a week. They ain't going to get rich. You can drop them off at church for an hour a week. They're not going to get spiritual. They're going to catch what you are. If you spend more time about MVP, that's what they care because that's what you care about. If you spend more time on their GPAs and that's what they care, that's what you care about. I went so far off the deep end because the entire culture just ruined me as a kid that I told Amy, you got to understand this when we start having kids. I don't care what they do. I don't care if they go to school. I don't care if they ever make a dime. I don't care if they're leeches off of us in society. The only thing I care about is do they know the Lord? Because that's eternity. And I do not want to have a doctor or a lawyer for the next 40 years and I don't see him for the rest of eternity. I will take a bum for the next 30 years who loves Jesus. And if I get forever with that bum, I'm going to be okay as a dad. And unfortunately, I think we went off the deep end on that side. My kids are straight D's. My kids don't try for anything. They each have little passion and nuance. They're great. You know, if your kids watch this, what are they going to think? I tell it to their face. They know it. Because I tell them, I don't care. You know what? All three of you love Jesus right now. All three of you are ministering at our church. All three of you are volunteering. That's all my heart cares about. One day eternity is going to start, and that's going to be forever. And I just want you there. And you got to know, if you want to play ball, if you're going to swim, I'm going to show up. If you want to get great grades, I'm going to applaud you. But that is not what your dad is about. Your dad is about a much bigger picture and a much bigger purpose. And I just had to paint by numbers. Just show up. A kid was made to have a dad in their life. They know it. You've got to realize it. And when you show up, just share in their world. That's it. And they will love you for the rest of their life. I don't know what they're going to do at 30 or 40, but at 21, with all of her tattoos, this hair is just platinum blonde, this hair is jet black, the nose has got 3 piercings. And wherever that girl goes, I constantly see her doing this. Because she loves knowing that her daddy's in her life. And I love that girl. And my 17-year-old is back doing ministry. And she loves knowing that people go, you got your mom's looks and your dad's personality. And I'm like, prayer request. And I got a kid that tries so hard to be cool and not have a dad. But he really wants to show me what he's playing on the guitar. He really wants to show me how he sided some pickup humbuckle, some I don't even know the words that he does. And he tells me I can't show up when his band plays. But his small group leader told me 2 months ago, Bear thought it was really cool when you were singing his song the other day. I'm like, I know. He just won't tell me that for about another 5 years. Here's why I know you have what it takes. Because you're made in the image of your dad. And he put it in you. And he's a really good dad. For those of you that love this and do it, sorry I didn't give you anything. For the rest of us, just show up. Just share. And you know what? Swallow your pride. Apologize and say, I screwed up. A lot. A lot. If you win every battle with your kid, I promise you're going to lose the war. Lose battles with your kid. Let them win one over on you. And come back and say, hey, the other night I screwed up. I didn't get enough information. I said you couldn't do that. That was my bust. That was my bust. My son and I planned this trip for the last 4 months. He was my shotgun. He was my +1. There's a band playing we're going to go see. Tickets to the game tonight. Milwaukee Bucks playing. It's going to be our weekend. He came home Tuesday. His band got a gig Friday night. He was so excited. And I go, whoa, Bear, we're leaving at 2 a.m. Friday for Milwaukee. That's this weekend, Dad? Yeah. Okay. And I had to go back in his room that night and go, hey, bud, you need to be with your guys. It's a great opportunity. Your dad can go alone. No, Dad, I know you've really been planning on this. And I go, yeah, that's the problem. I've been planning on it. You've got better plans. I'll be okay. We'll hang out again so I can stay and do my gig. Stay and do your gig. It doesn't pay. There's no paparazzi. You're going nowhere with it. But it's important to you. Oh, we're out of time. Let me do this. Father God, for every man in this room, thank you. We're created in your image. We're created to love our wives the right way because we're made in your image. We're created to be not good dads. We're created to be great dads. We have that in us because we have you in us. Help us just to show up. Help us to share. And help us to swallow our stinking pride, especially with our kids, and let them know, hey, your dad's just a big screw up too. I blew that one. Sorry. Give us all of you so we can be better us's. Thanks for being a dad that we can be like. In Jesus' name, amen.